Today I am ranking every starter Pokemon, and I hardly know what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Silly Surfboard, guys. I'm Silly Surfer, and let's get freaking into it. Now, I think I need to explain something real quick. I'm not very good at Pokemon. I've actually been called the worst Pokemon Nuzlocker of all time, which is a little bit confusing to me because I've won every single Nuzlocke that I've done on this channel. The ones that I haven't won haven't been recorded, okay? The thing is, I just don't really know much about Pokemon. I just kind of like do stuff. I kind of exist, and I succeed. I'm a baller. That's how I win. So how am I going to be ranking these Pokemon? How am I going to be judging them? That's probably what you're asking. Just based off of vibes, really. We're going to be going in order of generation, so of course we're going to start with Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. So we're going to start with grass types first because ladies first, right? Because that makes sense. So Bulbasaur here has historically been my least favorite from Gen 1. Never has Bulbasaur ever been the reason for me having a hard time choosing a starter in Gen 1. He has never been in the running. It is always between Squirtle and Charmander, because those are the only two cool starters of Gen 1. I think that because he starts out as a dual type, it just sort of feels unfair to me. Now I know that, this is an advantage to some players and people like that, but I think that starters should be monotype, and I think that's good that we set the record straight right now. That is my preference for all of these starters that are gonna appear on the screen soon. He's always the first one to be eliminated from my options when I pick a starter in Fire Red and Leaf Green. I've actually never played Leaf Green. I've only ever played Fire Red, so not that that matters at all. Let's talk about Ivysaur. Yeah, I think Ivysaur and Bulbasaur both have pretty solid stats. Same with Venusaur, they all have good stats. I'm not saying they're bad Pokemon, I'm just not a big fan. I think Ivysaur and Bulbasaur both have pretty cool designs. I mess with both of their designs. I think they both look pretty cool. However, when we get to Venusaur, which we're going to right now, I hate the way Venusaur looks. It looks like a bumpy, naked frog. It looks especially chopped in newer 3D models. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but it's just unsightly. I don't want to look at that, especially from behind. However, Venusaur is pretty tanky, and I have used one in my Fire Red Nuzlocke, and he was amazing. He was really good, so I don't doubt Venusaur's abilities to pretty much manhandle the rest of the Kanto region. All right, let's move on to the fire type. Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. When it comes to Charmander, nothing is especially special about him. He's a fire lizard. It's pretty cool. It's a classic. And you know what? I think the reason people pick Charmander is because of what he evolves into. Charmeleon, same story. I think he looks he looks a lot cooler than Charmander. I like this little spike he's got on the back of his head. The thing is, when you play with them through Fire Red, they're typically the most disadvantaged starter because the first several gyms are good against fire types, so it's a disadvantage. So if you pick Charmander as your starter, you're actually kind of a baller because you were I don't care about these gyms, we're gonna handle them, even though I picked the fire starter, the disadvantaged starter. He does evolve into a dual type Charizard, but I don't mind it because Charizard's freaking awesome. It's a freaking fire dragon. Are you kidding me? The only thing is, it would be cool if Charizard was a dragon type instead of a fire flying type. So fire dragon would be pretty sick, but I know I don't think they had dragon types back then. Or did they? Because of that one dude, Dragonite. Yeah. Huh. I don't know. They probably did have dragon types. I don't understand why he's not a dragon type, so that's -1 point for me on Charizard, but he looks pretty sick. I guess people are kind of sick of seeing him everywhere, but I don't mind. I think Charizard's really cool, and I think we should see him whenever we get the chance to. The water type starter. Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. Squirtle looks awesome as a base level evolution. He looks so cool. I love the way Squirtle looks. Wartortle, I don't understand. It's like Squirtle, but with fangs. And then he's got little ears and a fluffy tail. I don't super know what's going on there, but I don't mind it. I kind of like it. Kind of vibey. Also, these guys are great with stats. It's probably one of the starters I've used the least. When I got Pokemon X when I was 13, my brother and I bought those games because we saw Charizard X, Mega Charizard X, on the cover. Black Charizard, Blue Fire, we were like, oh, we're totally gonna catch that and use Mega Charizard X. But when Professor whatever his name is gives you the starter from Gen 1, I picked Squirtle. And my brother was like, what the heck, man? We bought these games so you could pick the cool looking Charizard. And I picked Squirtle. And Mega Blastoise looks so cool, but we're not even talking about the Megas. I'm just talking about, that was my first time using Squirtle, and I really liked him, and I did not regret it at all. I think Squirtle is great. Blastoise is really awesome, really tanky. I'm a sucker for a good water type, and I just love the design. It's a giant turtle with cannons in his shell. Like, that's awesome. That's so cool. So that's my thoughts on these guys. So now we're going to get to the ranking system, and this is how it's going to work for the rest of them. I'm going to start from 3 going upward. So 3 is my least favorite of the bunch, and 1 is my favorite. There we go, right? So coming in 3rd place for Fire Red and Leaf Green Generation 1 is Venusaur. Obviously, everybody saw that coming, right? Because I trashed on Venusaur so hard. Middle place, 2nd, will be Charizard. And 1st place, Blastoise. That was a hard choice, picking between Blastoise and Charizard, because they're both awesome. I think I've just had a better overall experience with Blastoise than I have had with Charizard. Heart Gold and Soul Silver in the Johto region. So we're going to start with ladies first, of course, the grass types. Everyone hates Chikorita, right? Everybody hates Chikorita. I actually got trashed on one of my videos for saying Chikorita is one of my favorite starters. Spoiler alert. I love Chikorita. I had to take a little pause for a second. I recorded like half the video, and I realized my mic was off. Isn't that the worst? Let's get back. I'm just gonna get back down to here. I was all the way up in like Gen 5. So we're just gonna. You don't know that. It doesn't matter to you. Bayleaf. Bayleaf looks great. I like the razor-esque leaf on its head because Bayleaf learns like Razor Leaf or Magic Leaf or something, and when I picture that move, I see sharp blades of leaves. And I think the design of Bayleaf makes sense for that. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's important, but I really like the dinosaur look. I'm a big fan of dinosaurs. I don't know if I've said that already. And Meganium is a Brontosaurus. So Meganium, therefore, is a Pokemon that I really like. And I like that he has like the little stems coming out from between his eyes, because what are those called? Those aren't stems. They're like little antennae from a flower, because he's got a flower on his neck. I think that's really cool. I mess with all 3 of these stages. I like all 3 of these guys. They're very cool. Here we have Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. Now, with Cyndaquil, a lot of people like Cyndaquil. I'm not one of those people. I think Cyndaquil is kind of boring. Why is he asleep? I will say, I like the puns, or the play on words of each name here. All of these make sense. They're good. Cinda, which is like cinder, Quill. I don't need to explain these to you. I like the puns. I like the play on words. All of these, they did a good job making all of these pretty uniform. They all look pretty similar to each other, which is important to me. That is something that I value in a 3-stage evolution. And Typhlosion's pretty strong, and then Quilava is fine. I don't really have anything to say. I literally don't have much to say about these guys. They look cool, they have nice names, and they look the way they should. Totodile looks great, doesn't he? He looks so great. Look how happy and joyful and like kind of scary he looks. A little crocodile. I like the color scheme. Croconaw, little chunky, little chubby little guy. I don't like that. I don't know why they pick so many middle stages to make chubby. I don't get it. I get maybe like when I was a little kid, I was pretty skinny. Then when I was in middle school, I was kind of fat. And then once I got to high school, I got like in good shape again. So maybe that's what's going on here. I think they like to do that with some of the starters. I don't like that. I like my Pokemon to be fit and healthy. I don't want to look at an obese or chubby Pokemon, unless it's Snorlax, because that one makes sense. Just not appealing to the eye, Croconaw. Not appealing to the eye. Feraligatr looks sick, though. He looks really dope. And he's really strong. There's only one thing that I can say negatively about Feraligatr, and it's all related to the way they spelled his name. What the heck? I made a video about this. I think I mentioned this in a video, actually, that I hate the way they spelled Feraligatr. I get it. They have limited characters, and they did what they could. Why not add more character slots? What the heck? They screwed themselves with that, and I don't like it. Feraligatr. What the heck? I'm an author, okay? If you don't know that about me, I wrote a book. It should be published within the next week or two of when this video is released, which is really exciting. You can congratulate me later. But when I see a typo like that, or something that's spelled wrong, even though this is intentional, it really rubs me the wrong way. So this really messes with my brain, and I don't like that. So that's my thoughts on Feraligatr. So let's go ahead and get into ranking. Coming in third place, Feraligatr. Yeah. Any surprise there? Probably a lot. I don't know what you're gonna think. It'd be cool kind of if you guys tell me what you thought I was gonna rank these ones, because I feel like I am subverting expectations. Because here on the Silly Surfboard with Silly Surfer, we subvert expectations. Coming in second place, who do you think it's gonna be? It's Typhlosion, yeah, because he's fine. He's mid. It's literally the definition of mid for me. And then first place is Meganium, obviously. We didn't need a drum roll for that because we knew that was going to happen. Let's move on to Gen 3. I'm pretty happy with the design I did for this slide, so if you guys want to pat me on the back in the comments, you can do that. I'm not opposed. Yeah, so Trico, Grovyle, Sceptile. I'll tell you this much. When I bought Pokemon Omega Ruby as a kid, I was looking at the back cover on the drive home after buying it, right? And I was like, what starter am I gonna pick? What starter am I gonna pick? Because these are the kind of life decisions you have to struggle with as an 11-year-old boy. I think I was 13. I don't know how old I was. I was somewhere within that range. This was the biggest decision I'd made up until that point in my life. And I saw Trico, and I was like, him. That's the guy. That's the one I want to pick. Trico is really cool. I like the gecko vibe. I like the play on words. Trico, tree, grass type, gecko, eco. Grovyle, I don't really know what the pun is, but I like the Velociraptor look. And like I said earlier, I'm a fan of dinosaurs, so that's bonus for me. And then Sceptile is really just super awesome. Look how cool Sceptile is. Looks like a lizard dinosaur with a pine tree for a tail. That's awesome. Way to go, whoever designed this, okay? And he's just a great tank, attack beast. It's great all around. Torchic is always the #1 competition for Trico for me. Whenever I was debating what starter I wanted to pick, and anytime I've played the game since then, it's always been Trico or Torchic. Which one do I pick? It's always a tough choice. And I'll tell you why, the reason I don't pick Torchic in a second. So, Torchic, really, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but it's really Torchic, because if it was Chick, it would have a K here. C-H-I-C is chic, so Torchic. Really? Torchic looks great. Little chicken, little fire chicken. I like it. It's cute. It's cool. Combuskin, a bigger fire chicken, which is cool. I don't think the fighting type is necessary, but they did it because of Blaziken, who just isn't a chicken at all, or really a bird whatsoever. Just kind of a hairy, homeless dude with long legs, and I hate that. I really hate that, and that's why Combusken's a fighting type, because Blaziken's obviously a fighting type. When I look at that, I'm like, that's a fighting type. I hate Blaziken. I don't like the way he looks. If Blaziken came from a different evolution line, I would be a big fan, because Blaziken looks cool. I like the face. The rest of it, take it or leave it. I don't really care. I like the face. The face looks cool. It's just not very bird-like, and I don't see chicken roots in it. I don't know. That's my thoughts. And then Mudkip, everybody's favorite, the OP starter Pokemon on easy mode. If you pick Mudkip, you're gonna have an easy time with whatever, whatever game you play, because Mudkip's overpowered. He's cute, derpy. I get it. I get why. I get the appeal. People like that look. Marshtomp is fine. Ground type, water ground is a great combination. because that eliminates the electric type weakness, guys. Okay, and Swampert's just a freaking tank. It's a powerhouse. I just, I'm more of an underdog kind of guy. I like the underdogs. I like the ones that other people don't like. I like to be a contrarian. So Swampert's like rarely. I think I've played with Mudkip one time, and it was easy. It was easy. That's how I'll describe it. So let's go ahead and jump into number 3 of the... What's this region called again? The Gen 3 region. I'm blanking on it. It's not Kanto, Johto, Sinnoh, Hoenn, yes. Swampert's number 3. He's cool, he's fine, I like the design, it's kind of overdone, right? Number 2 is Blaziken. That might be a surprise to you, because of how much I was trashing on it, but like I said, Blaziken's cool. I like the first 2 evolutions a lot. I just don't love Blaziken. So this really, the number 2 should be Torchic and Combusken, right? And then first place, that leaves Sceptile. He's cool. He has a really cool Mega Evolution too. Time for Sinnoh. The funny thing is we're actually going through a Platinum Nuzlocke right now on the channel. If you like episodic content, that might be something you would enjoy watching. So I check that out after this video if that's your thing. Let's start with Turtwig. What a great... I don't think I've ever seen a better evolutionary line. You know what? Actually, I'm going to hold that compliment. I'm not going to subject that just to Turtwig because I think that Sinnoh nails the evolution lineups for every single Pokemon. All of these ones are really solid. They were really on their best game in Gen 4. Turtwig, Grotle, Torterra, it all makes sense. Turtle-esque Tortoise, right? That's awesome. Turtwig is cute. He's pretty strong for a little base starter. He's pretty tanky. Grotle, not the biggest fan of Grotle just because I don't understand what's going on with the shell here. I don't know why it covers his whole body. I don't like that. You can find no fault in Torterra because Torterra is awesome. He's got a tree. He's got like a whole like continent on his back. I always used to think Torterra was like the size of a continent, but if that were true, that tree would be insanely huge. He's got the ground type. I like that Grotle doesn't get the ground type, but Torterra does. You have to really work your way up to the final stage to get the ground type, and then that eliminates like a bunch of weaknesses. He's no longer weak to flying. He's no longer weak to fire. He's only weak to ice, which is really cool. Chimchar. Now, we actually picked Chimchar for our Nuzlocke, but Chimchar's not really my favorite. I do think that they did a good job with the design. They kept everything like pretty consistent. That was kind of my issue with Blaziken, is that it wasn't consistent. This is very consistent. Monkey, monkey, monkey. Swirls, swirls, swirls. You got swirls on all of them. The fighting type makes sense for this one. This is one of the few where I'll be like, yeah, that dual type makes sense and I like it. I've just never been super drawn to Infernape. But I get it. Like, it's cool, it's consistent. I don't really have an issue with it. It's just not my favorite. Piplup, adorable. Prinplup, super cool. And Empoleon is maybe the coolest design for a Pokemon I've ever seen. The only thing is, I don't get it. I don't get the choice here. Piplup is a water type. I think Piplup should be a water ice type, because he's a penguin. Prinplup, water type, which I get. He looks less ice type than Piplup, but I would still appreciate an ice type on there. And Empoleon, I get why they made him steel water, because he looks like a steel type. But change the look of the steel and make it ice, and it would be really cool. I don't have an issue with water steel. I don't think that makes the most sense to me, because that just, I don't think it adds more resistance. It only adds more like weaknesses to him. And I think his stats are just awful. I hate Empoleon. I actually hate Piplup's evolutionary line solely based on stats and like effectiveness. So coming in third place, we have, drumroll please, Infernape, right? Because just kind of mid. I'm not a big fan. It's just, yeah, it's what it is. It's cool. It's consistent. That's all I'm going to give it. It's whatever. The real competition here is for second place. Who is going to be in second? Will it be Torterra, who I said is great and has good stats? Or will it be Empoleon, who I said looks awesome and has a really cool triple stage look? It's Empoleon. Empoleon gets second place. This one was really hard for me. I think really the reason I put Torterra first is because it's the one I'd prefer to use out of the two. But looks-wise, they're both really cool. This is a really great generation. Black and White, everybody's favorite game. We did a Nuzlocke through here, and that one was actually a lot of fun. I think that might be one of my favorites that we've done so far. We picked Snivy as our starter, which I don't like any of the... Going into that game, I didn't like any of the options. I didn't like any of the starters, especially Snivy, because I had an issue with the way, like, as Snivy evolves, arms, legs, kind of, and then no arms, no legs. It's just a snake. For whatever reason, I had an issue with that as a kid. I don't know why, but it makes sense now. I like that he turns into a snake now. Serperior's pretty cool, and it's a great, like, I had a great time using Snivy. Here we have Tepig, and like I said earlier, I have a problem with unhealthy looking Pokemon, okay? So Tepig looks amazing. I love the way Tepig looks. He looks cool, he's adorable, and, you know, fire type is great. He's fast. I like the way he looks. It's great. Pignite is where I start to have an issue. Pignite looks so chopped, bro. Like, it's not even... I don't have an issue with his size because he is a pig, so it makes sense. I have an issue with the way he looks with what he's wearing. Is that like a tunic? I don't know what it's called, but I don't like the way it looks. The little, like, tank top straps, I don't like that. I think that is really ugly and atrocious. And then Embor's pretty cool. Pretty big. I don't think I ever want to use him. I don't have an issue with Ember. I think he's fine. Fighting type makes sense. Maybe Pig Dark. Pig Dark. What? Fire Dark would be cool. Oshawott fine. I don't like Oshawott, but I like Duat and Samurott. I don't like Oshawott. He looks kind of like a nerd. Duat is cool. Duat looks like a little ninja. And it's like, yeah, obvious step up from Oshawott. And then Samurott, what the heck happened? I mean, Samurott looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but how did this come from this? How did that happen? You know, it's just not consistent. I don't like the consistency. So let's go ahead and rank the Black and White starters. I don't have a lot to say about them just because I've only played through the game once and I haven't really used anything other than Snivy. So coming in third place, actually I've played the game twice and I picked Oshawott as my starter. But that was a long time ago and I don't remember it very much. I've played the other games way more frequently. This is one of the ones I've only played like very few times. Coming in third place is Ember. No surprise there. I don't like the design. I don't like any of the stages. Tepig is fine, I guess. Coming in second place is, can you guess? I feel like I was pretty obvious with this one. It's going to be Samurott. And then first place is Serperior. I was gonna make this one video, but the microphone quality got pretty bad, so I'm just gonna go ahead and re-record the second half. So we're gonna do a one-part, two-part sort of situation with these. In the next one, we will cover Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Violet and Scarlet, and even the game that hasn't come out yet, Wind and Waves. So stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, comment down below, and don't forget to stay silly.
Boom, diggity, boom, 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 diggity, boom.